It's Real Fit Radio with B
and J.Lou.
If it's your first time listening, welcome. And if you're a returning listener, welcome back.
Welcome back, because we back.
How you feeling?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. Just ready to tackle these topics. See what's in store this week.
Well, that's good. I concur. I'm feeling good as well. And we can jump right into it. We're going to do a deep dive today. We got a couple of things I wanted to just talk about. So just going to mix it up. There's not one specific topic today. So this is always fun for me.
Let's do it.
Because you have no idea.
No, I don't.
We're talking
this is
about
a random one today.
Yeah,
right, then.
Literally wrote these down a few minutes ago. But let's get into it. Life with a mask. I feel like I am a PlayStation 4, like a video game character. Mortal Kombat. The mask is on, and yeah, I see some people getting fashionable with it. I know you're helping me out because some of them are breaking my chin out and stuff. So how are you feeling with life with the mask? Because we need to have it on. I know everybody's like, wear your mask, wear your mask. We are law-abiding mask wearers. It's mandated now, but we were wearing them before. I think it's just out of respect for other people. I know some people are kind of touchy about it. We've seen some stuff where people are going off in stores and everything. I guess because they're feeling like, you're not going to make me do this, or I don't have anything. I think that you know what you don't have, but you have to take into consideration that people don't know you. So we have to come into this common space where wherever it is, the grocery store, retail store, wherever we're coming, and the mask is required because there are other people. We're in the midst of other strangers. I just think it's mutual respect. Like, you don't know me, you don't know what I have. Mask on, So where are you at with this mask?
I mean, outside of me forgetting that damn thing every time I get out the car, I really don't have no issue with it. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do. That's the law of the land. Let's do it. I tend to be one of those people y'all talk about on the memes on Instagram or wherever you post a meme at, where it's like you get out the car and you're like, oh shit, my mask. I'm the person that do that every time. So one of my peers that was in school, I guess he made this up himself. He was like, every time I get out this car, I gotta go to the store wherever I'm going. Your motherfucking ass know I was going to the store. You should have hopped your ass out too. But he was talking about the mask.
Oh, Lord.
Like, you knew what we was coming here for. Why you didn't hop your ass out the car? Because it's like people still getting used to having to carry that around everywhere, all day, every day. Because it's just, you getting out the car. And like you said, it's just a common respect to individuals that's walking around. And yeah, your immune system. But everybody's immune system may not be like that. So definitely can understand and concur that you just want to look out for other people. But yeah, it can be a nuisance sometimes, especially when you just kind of in a rush and it's like, oh yeah, I'm finna go over here, and it's real quick, and then you realize, oh shit, I ain't got it with me. I can't even go in this store. So you either have to go back home or you lose your momentum and be like, I ain't even going back. So like I said, it's very simple. I'm really on shits and giggles with it, to be honest with you, because like I said, it's nothing super life altering outside of people making it a fashion statement. Put it on, you still handling business, but I guess you don't want to walk around looking like a Sub-Zero character all day. But
it can be a bit uncomfortable too. I was in Target the other day and I forgot the thinner mask that I have. So I ended up having to put the thicker black one on that I realized a while back that it was irritating my chin, and it was just thick and made my face all hot. And so I was in Target and I'm like, whew, it's hot. I kept trying to raise it up from my mouth or whatever. Like you said, it's a lot sometimes, but I do understand why they're doing it. It's a whole process. They're trying to figure things out. And I try to make a joke of it with some things. When you were saying it right there, I was like, I'm going to get me a mask that says on there, Team Mask all day. I'm firm believer, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So I got a box of the mask in the trunk, in the console, folded up in my purse, because it's just like, if you leave the house and you don't have it, if you're by yourself, you're just kind of stuck. And some places you go and you see they're selling masks everywhere,
Oh, yeah.
we went to Trader Joe's and they had some complimentary masks down the way. And even at the store, I know that some places just out of a courtesy, which is really good, you're coming there and you forget. So they have some, if you ask, we have a disposable mask, you can get one right over there by the register.
Well, I think it's an advantage for me because shit, I ain't got to worry about shaving my facial hair no more. Almost.
Oh, man.
The mask just masks the facial hair. I'll just keep my hair cut. Nah, I'm playing. That was a lame joke, but no, it do help me out because sometimes I'll be feeling like putting that razor to my face or clippers to my face, and that just kind of covers that 1/2 point mark. So all you see is my eyes. Just keep my attire right, and I'm all right.
Do half your makeup on for a girl. I'm just doing my
half
eyes.
Face.
Just my eyes and the brows. Don't worry about nothing else. Half foundation, just the upper part. You're not gonna even see the bottom. Okay. Yeah, but it's
looking like Melina now.
It's interesting because just what I was thinking about with life with the mask, that's just the actual physical part of it. It just seems like it's a bit much, and I'm sure it's an inconvenience for some. It's just like, oh my gosh, just because we didn't have to do it before. But the other part of that too is just the preparation of moving forward. How are things going to come into play? What does everything look like going forward with the mask? We've talked about repeatedly, even when we've done check-ins where people are working from home, which is great. I think this is the time, if you have a skill set where it allows you to, I think that employers should be open to it for real because it cuts the cost of their overhead as far as the liabilities for having everybody in there together with this COVID thing, in addition to just having liability insurance if you're a business owner. And also the social distancing. If you can work from your home, that eliminates the mask and you're home, So what I'm hopeful that I'll see more of is opportunities for people to work from home or in smaller groups where they're able to still financially provide for themselves and not taking too much of a tremendous pay cut, or some new skill sets are learned, or people are offering to teach new skill sets to employ people where they're able to function in smaller settings where they may not have to have a mask because they're sectioned off in different places. When they come out to move around each other, that's when they put it on. If you're from at home again, you don't even have to have the mask on. But what are your hopes? It's like being optimistic about it. What does life with the mask look like for you? Not just the physical part, but the other stuff.
Realistically, I just want all the businesses to open back up and let people get back to their normal lives in terms of how they earn their income. Now, granted, a plethora of ideas have came about from this whole pandemic and people having to figure out ways to continue to make income due to small businesses shutting down or closing down for long periods of time. And even some of these businesses are closed down permanently in a sense. So ultimately, I just want things to go back to normal in terms of things opening back up. Also, just people not going back to dirty habits. Like, I remember when you showed me the Devon Franklin thing where he was like, somebody didn't wash their hands in the bathroom. Like, that type of stuff shouldn't be happening anyways. But just going forward, like, just common things like that, making sure you're washing your hands. Just simple stuff that we should be doing already. Mm-hmm. Covering your mouth when you cough. All the things that we took for granted before. Just doing that again, but times 10. It's not too much that I'm desiring outside of what was already happening. I just want people to be more cognizant of what's going on around their surroundings when it comes to health conscious decisions, basically. Ultimately, because like I said, I'm a business guy and I hate to see a lot of these people trying to figure out what they're going to do going forward because some people are not, tech savvy. So everybody can't work at home. So it's a good percentage of people that, like we talked about earlier today, are very displaced. Mm-hmm. So that overall can hurt the economy in general. So I'm kind of confused though about one thing, and if you guys know more out there in the world about this situation, because I haven't really been looking at TV that much in terms of sports and stuff, but I know basketball is starting to kick back up, and I'm just a bit confused at how the sports world is opening back up, and I don't know how the fans are going to watch the game if nobody's going to be there. I've been told by a couple of people that I know that they're just gonna play the game almost like a scrimmage, but it's a real game. Nobody's in the arena.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the teams and stuff like that. I don't know how true that is, but if it's like that, okay, then I guess I can see how it start back up. But if anything looks like any fans can get in there, if it's like sitting every other seat, I'm gonna be a bit confused at how y'all got that open, but you're closing gyms or you closing hair care product stores, things of that nature, where people are going in, they're not congregating and talking, they're getting in, they getting what they need, and they getting out. I'm not gonna have an understanding on how you can keep the sports world alive, but you can't seem to figure out a way for people to run their businesses like the ones I just named. Hair care, barbershops, even though I've been told today you said they can do it outside.
That answers your question, because that's exactly what they're going to do in regards to sports. I'm trying to keep up with everything for our squad, because I just keep saying we going to go outside one day and they're going to be like, no, it's not mask. Now you got to wear a whole screen over your face. Yeah, helmet too. And it's like, what? I didn't get the update. So I normally too don't really watch the news or read too much about what's going on, but it's almost like you
try to keep your sanity up.
Yes, but it's almost like you have to, just for update's sake, like when they randomly impose that curfew, like you have to be in by this time. It was just like everybody's cell phone started going off. So because we experienced that, I try to kind of look at that stuff at the start of the day, or throughout the day, because updates are happening, or it's like 2 hours ago the mayor made an announcement. But what you were saying about the sports, I just read something. It was saying Chick-fil-A, but I'm not sure what event it was outside, but they're trying to do it every other seat for fans. And I believe if it's an outdoor thing, I don't know for basketball how they're doing that. I would think that would be in the arena, but I think this was an outdoor event. They were looking into every other seat because they really are like serious about this event going forward. And so what I came to the conclusion of, or just my assumption, is it's a money thing. So the places that have enough money to kind of push, we're going to have every other seating in, because it's like we're going to lose more money. There's so much money right now in entertainment. People watching movies from home, Netflix, Redbox, anything where you can be entertained from home. Even with the sports, we look at it as a scrimmage, but I'm sure the watch time is going to be crazy, versus somebody that would have gone to the game and a couple of people having the option to check the game out later. Because of everything, they think I'm watching it live because nobody can be there. So everybody's on the same level now. We all are having to watch it from whatever size screen in our house. There's no exceptions. Nobody, gets to be in there. I mean, unless they had the press box.
Oh, yeah.
Open. We wouldn't know about that, but it's like I was in the press box. You didn't know it, but I did. And I was, looking down. But anyway, yeah, they could have some outrageous stuff where it's like, did I see 3 people in a row in there? That arena's supposed to be empty. But they have the financial means and they're social distancing because no one else is there. But that might cause a whole nother type of uproar. But just going back a little bit, I agree completely with what you saying. The regular stuff we should be doing. I try to find the little gems in the midst of all this. We have some crazy things, but like you said, washing your hands.
Yeah,
covering your mouth when you cough. These are things you should be doing. I mean, we walked into a store today, mask up, and they were pumping the hand sanitizer. Yeah. Would you like some sanitizer? Right. Would you like some? And it's like, okay, if you want us to wear gloves, fine, but I haven't touched anything. And I'm going to do hand sanitizer when I leave out. I think that part is, we're encountering germs all the time. I think that's the part people don't get. But that other stuff that we were already doing, like washing your hands, not going around other people when you're sick. I never did that before anyway. Yeah. Right. But you see signs, even when we're going to the gym, if you feel us, please don't come in. Please don't come in. Like a little baby coughing and sneezing everywhere. I think this right now has raised so much. The awareness is so heightened, but it should have been something that was just like second nature. Just being courteous of others around you. Again, like I said, I don't know you, you don't know me, you don't know what I have. I could look like I don't have anything or I just don't know. So let's just be courteous. Let's wash our hands. I look at even the fast food stuff. They talking about you can do curbside pickup, but who's making the food in the restaurant? I always wondered that type of stuff in there. So I'm hoping that the employees are abiding by these regular old things we should be doing. Like you said, wash your hands because you're making people's food that can't even come in that have a mask on. Remember we got sick from some tacos we got in Glendale, and we watched them make the food.
Forget that.
And we knew that it was from there, and it was like a cold. Our body was tired. We knew exactly where it came from.
Like some crazy ass flu bug.
Yeah, it was just like we knew exactly where it came from, and it came and went. But you just don't know what people are doing. Practice good hygiene. Like you should be washing your hands. You're preparing stuff for other people. So yeah, we on the same page. Let's keep that same energy going forward.
That's all I ask.
With the mask, continue to be considerate. Act as if you did and treat people the way you'd want to be treated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That too rolls into the next topic when you were talking about the businesses and just people being displaced. What does it look like, or how do you feel like you should be moving going forward in regards to how you interact with people or how you move as an individual? And I say the second one, how you move as an individual. I feel like some people before this were moving a certain way where it was Monday through Friday. I go to work 9 to 5. I get off. I go to the gym. Schedule. Now it's like, how do I move? Am I looking for other opportunities? Do I just sit and wait for them to announce what my next move is? Or do I go make some moves? Am I looking into picking up a new skill set? Some people have unemployment as an option. Even making a move with communicating with somebody that I don't have this, or I'm going to have to apply for some assistance in this area, or I won't be back on my feet until then. Like all these things. There's some people that wouldn't know how to move. They're kind of just stuck like a deer in the headlights right now. And they're waiting to be told, what do I do next? How do you feel like you should be moving, or you would suggest for others to move right now going forward with all this stuff going on?
I would like to think that people are trying to find different ways to make money on their own, because quite frankly, with the job situation being the way it is, you don't necessarily know if you will ever be able to go back to it. And like I said earlier, depending on what your skill set is or was, it may be a minute before you get something else. And then with how they got this stuff going with the whole stipend of the $600, I heard that just stopped. I think the last one was this past week or whatnot. And then I got some new information from you guys saying that they're voting on whether they're going to do a new one, but this one won't be 6, it might be 3. So I think this situation is, number one, teaching people to not be so dependent on assistance. A lot of people already felt like, man, don't be trying to lean on the government to help, etc., etc. And then you do got some people that lean on government assistance, welfare. But yeah, depending on what age group you're talking about too as well, would determine what they'll be able to do anyways in regards to physical labor or the mental part of things. And then depending on how much they know technology or lack thereof, that can play a big part. As far as everyone else younger than that that's capable of doing outside jobs and things of that nature, it's really forcing you to have to think outside the box, because with the way things are going, like I said, you don't know what's opening, what's closing, what you're able to do right now. But ultimately, you're going to have to be more strategic in this day and time, because the only people that's comfortable right now are the ones that's already financially stable. This is not affecting them as much as someone who was on the cusp of maybe the middle class or a little bit below that and so forth. We're having to try to really figure out strategically how to manipulate the income that is coming in, just because it's not coming in bunches like that. Jobs are not plentiful like that. Funny thing about the whole stipend thing with 200 or 300, whatever they choose to do, it's like you're trying to encourage people to get back into the workforce that doesn't exist. So what you guys were telling me earlier was like, oh, they're not doing the 6 because it's like people are just like, well, shoot, I mean, making more money staying at home doing this than I am going to work. So people wasn't going back to work or trying to look for anything. So the solution is, okay, well, let's cut that in half or a little bit more than a half. And now your whole mindset behind that plan is to get people to not get so comfortable with what they're giving us bi-weekly or however it works, but you're closing down businesses. That's why I said it's an interesting time, because the people who are dependent are solely like, well, I'm waiting for an answer for what we supposed to do next. Those people are really in trouble right now, because if you're not leaning, obviously with my faith in God and working and moving and trying to figure out, okay, with this money or with this opportunity that I have time off, what can I do for myself to create, an additional income using that hustle mindset or entrepreneur mindset, whatever word you want to use there. If you're not one of those people that's trying to figure that part out, it's going to get difficult, because we don't know what the future holds. So I don't think I ever gave my suggestion on what to do.
You did. You were saying that you have to be, what I heard, strategic, intentional. And
you can't just be spending money all foolishly and recklessly right now.
Well, you're like, don't wait.
Yeah.
Don't wait. That's what I got from it. For me, I always look at what's happening and what could be happening, or kind of opposite of what's going on. So I started to look at it. First, how should a person move during this? One, you need to move. They're telling us not to move, but you need to move. Even waiting is moving. Communicating is moving. Not like literally getting up and moving around outside. It doesn't have to be that kind of motion, but you need to be moving. Moving, gathering your thoughts, being intentional, strategic of what type of plan you want to execute. I know that plans don't always go the way that we want them to, but you still got to come up with something. And when that is not working, you at least can kind of maneuver this way, or, well, since that didn't happen, let me move this way. You have a reference point. So I would definitely say they're saying not to move. I think you should be moving in thoughts, moving in communicating what you want to do, writing it down, just having some sort of plan of how you're going to execute. Even though I know stuff is changing day to day, it's almost like mental exercise, because it's crazy when you're sitting there waiting for the next instruction. Are they going to send out another stimulus check? I'm waiting to hear. Do we go back on shutdown? Well, I'm waiting. And for some people, it's like, well, I can't do nothing because I'm waiting on them to tell me. That in itself, I think that's counterproductive, because I believe there are great things or situations that are going to come out of this if you start working that brain. What could I be doing? What's something I've always wanted to do? I think a lot of amazing opportunities and creative business ventures, entrepreneurial endeavors that people have been thinking about for a long time can come out of this. Even like how we saw Travis Scott do the virtual concert. People are going into this video game to see him. So that may be something that doesn't stop after this.
Working together is another one. Finding somebody to work together with.
That's exactly what my next thing was, but not even working together, tying into one part. Remember I said, how do you move separately and how do you move with the other people? Yeah. But even with that, video stores, Blockbuster was a thing of the past, all that stuff. Man, you can't even go to the movie theaters right now. So what is the next big thing? You could be sitting somewhere. If you work your mental muscle, you might come up with the next big thing, because if it takes 14 days to form or break a habit, we've been doing this now, staying at home, wearing a mask. We're being conditioned. And I know for some people that's scary, because it's like, you're not going to make me do something. It's a part of, what's going on. If it's a new law that's implemented, sometimes we kind of go up against it, and then everybody kind of comes to a common agreement that it's not going to be this, we're going to do that. But at the end of the day, you might be the person that has the next thing that we're going to be doing going forward. I thought about immediately when they said barbers and hairstylists, nail techs, all that, you need to do hair and stuff outside. You can do it. You just can't do it indoors. And I started thinking right away, I'm just like, okay, so is that a canopy, a tent? All right. So how could you rent space like that? Oh, they have big parking lots downtown. So I started thinking, just don't overlook the biggest thing you could be working out right now is your mental muscle. You can come up with some stuff. Second thing, how do you move with the people around you? For me, if you are not doing anything, this is before the shutdown, I wasn't trying to rock with you anyway. Especially if you're in that consistent rut, You always going through something, blah, blah, blah. We've talked about this on previous podcasts. I need to protect my energy. I don't have time for the nonsense. I see this is perpetuated cycle with you, whether it's something you always talking to me about that you got going on that's not productive, positive, or moving you forward in what you desire to have. Iron sharpens iron. That's not happening with you and I gotta move it. It's not working. And I can choose to be a part of relationship, friendships, all those falls into friendships too. So I think it's a really good time to, even though they're saying social distance, they're saying not move around. You do need to move around, move that mental muscle. The other thing is you need to connect with people of the same mindset and are open to possibly jumping and assisting with getting some of these things off the ground. If you are getting unemployment, you know somebody else is getting unemployment. What you were saying earlier, what it's called is the work incentive. They're cutting the 600 to maybe 200 to 300 because they said the 600 every week, in addition to a person's unemployment, was kind of keeping them home. It wasn't pushing people to go back to work. They would rather collect the unemployment. And right. You're like, well, why would you have me do that when it's no place for me to go back to?
Yep.
So if you or a person just somehow this season for you, this time, you've been getting more money than what you made when you were going to work, you need to figure out where you're going to plant that. I call it seed. You're going to plant that seed because it can grow somewhere. What are you doing with the money that you are receiving? And connect with somebody. I believe we're always stronger in numbers. Everything that's done is done in numbers. There's somebody that's got a teammate or a team. It's one person can have the idea, another person creates the app. One person has the vision, another person has the skill set or the talent to bring it to life. So you need to, even though they're saying, like I said, I think backwards, social distance, no. You need to be looking at who in your circle is collecting some money too, has money, and all they're doing is going to the grocery store, sitting and saving and saying, I don't want to spend no money because I don't know what they're going to say next, because scared money don't make no money. And I'm not saying to go out and just spend, but you got to put it somewhere for it to get a return. You know, we always talk about investing and stuff like that, but this right now, for someone that doesn't understand investing, and Lou, you're great at it, but for someone that doesn't, it may take a while to even get them comfortable with investing in a mutual fund, a life insurance plan, IRA. Like that might be just too much for them to even start taking on right now. But you put your money together and say, I always wanted to start this oil business. I make oils. I make soap. I have this great design. I can draw. Let's go get some t-shirts. And I'm just saying, you know, just things that you see all the time. Right. Etsy, shipping is still happening. Shipping hasn't stopped. And if it's locally, you might make it to where it's a drop up, pick off. That's not a social gathering. You email the order to me, and on these days, you can pick it up at this park. Please wear your mask. We'll text you when you can come out your car and get your order. You can park in the parking lot. That's not a gathering. Or we'll send you your pickup time. Your pickup time is 3. Your pickup time is 5. You can space them, and you sitting right at that park with your mask on, and people are coming up, picking up their handmade soaps. If you've been listening to the podcast, that is what I do. I create. I will figure it out. I'm a MacGyver type person. So that's the thing. The people around you, if they not trying to help you move forward and you not trying to help them move forward, and y'all not trying to figure out or put your stuff in a pot and make it do what it do after you've taken care of the main things in your homes, because that stuff is going to be taken care of, but then you're sitting. So I think 1, get your mental muscle working. 2, find somebody to sharpen each other and put your money together if you can. And some stuff you don't even need no money. You might have had an idea where you bought some materials and stuff a long time ago. You just ain't thinking about it. It's sitting in your garage. It's in, some storage bin stacked up against the wall, and you were going to do it, but all this stuff going on, you're not even thinking about it. But that's what you're going to come to. You might remember if you work your mental muscle, and then it's like, I don't even need to go buy any product. I got all this product right here. Okay, if I could do this, and all I need is packaging, and I need somebody to help me with this. My cousin, she's at home now. I didn't have anybody to help me before this, but now everybody sat down. So I think there is huge opportunity in this. You just got to kind of start figuring it out, thinking about what else can come together and get some things moving, and you come out on a good side of this.
Can't agree with you more on that in terms of investments, and that's all I'll touch on because she already touched a lot of the points that I could make. But the investment part, even if it's something as simple as like sitting down, if you're fortunate enough to have a group that you're kicking it with, and it's like, all right, what is it that you want to do? Like, what is it something that you're passionate about, or what is a skill set that you have that we all can understand, and it's an instant return on investment?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know how to beautify yards. I don't know. I'm just, like you said, making
landscaping.
Landscaping. I'm really good at landscaping, but not just cutting grass. I'm talking about laying mulch, creating designs on your hedges, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, well, what are you good at over there? I'm dope at making shirts. And once you guys have all the things that you can do without going back to a job for, but you have the money that's coming in, you can come up with a game plan to see which one is going to bring the most income right away, which we call ROI, return on investment. And what you guys could do, you can put that money together and you can allocate it to the one that is going to bring the money the fastest, and you can diversify the remaining funds to the other things that may be a bit slower burn. Doesn't mean that you don't invest, but that's how it would be in the investment world. It's as simple as that. You're finding an opportunity that's going to make you the most money the quickest. And you can just start from there. Once you guys see the profits from it, then you can figure out, okay, we can up the budget on the t-shirt business we got over here. You need some new clippers, right? But they was $1,000 just making up a price, guys. And you can take that and allocate more money to that budget. But overall, you're moving in purpose and you're moving in unison. And granted, we do understand it takes a special group to do that, because somebody may feel like, well, why do you feel like yours is better than mine? And that's where you got to get your ego out. This will not work with people with big egos or people who are lazy, because it'll just fall apart. And it'll just make you guys angry at one another. Ultimately, it's a great idea, but it's a very hard thing to execute if you don't have the right group around you to run that play. But it's definitely a must. We have to come together in that aspect outside of the individual tactics that she was talking about earlier. If you're going to move in a group, you have to come to an understanding, and because that's the only way moving in unison and growing the small businesses and turning them into these multi-million-dollar businesses, or even just one that you're satisfied with, where you moving and shaking the way you feel without ever having to go back to a gig. You need other people. Most wealthy people use the OPM system, and I'll leave it at that. And OPM for you guys is other people money. It's one thing to use your money by yourself to get something grounded. It's nothing like having 3 other people money invested into something that you believe in, and then they also believe in it too. It's like, oh, well, shit, I'll put some money with that too. So now you have your resources and you have whoever is putting their resources with you. You just grow from there and you allocate it differently based off the money that was made.
Yeah, you said that it takes a special group of people. And it does, but the 2 things that special group needs to be is nothing extraordinary: to commit and execute. Commit and have follow through. You don't have to overcomplicate things. So commit and execute is one thing. And the other thing is, don't stop before you start by overthinking or overcomplicating something. Rome wasn't built in a day. There are things that start small. You work up and out. Steve Jobs' Apple, he started in his garage. Sometimes you start overcomplicating. Well, if we're going to do a business, we need to get a business license and we need to file for this. And are we going to do taxes on this? I get it. You do want to cross the T's and dot the I's, but you got to get there first. You're not even making no money yet. So the living room, somebody's living room can be the office, not meeting at a coffee shop. They're great things that have come out of Starbucks meetings and things like that. And those things are shut down. We are still posted up. So commit, execute, don't overthink it, and don't stop before you start by doing that. Overthinking, overcomplicating. Keep it very simple. What are we doing? What do we need to do it? Let's commit to it. Let's execute. For example, we have a design. She draws, or we want to print something on a shirt. I think this is a great design. We need someone to draw it. Do we have someone? It doesn't have to be, well, we need to hire a designer, start breaking it down. If it gets too complicated, okay, well, you know what? That right there was a graphic designs, or we got a logo design. Do we know someone that designs logos? Can we get on the internet? Do we have access to the internet? Just start kind of brainstorming and spitballing it out. And you want someone that's committed to do this with you. And there are going to be times when a person quits, or you feel like you're not making any leeway. Stay with it. You got to stay with it, because what you're planning, and I say this all the time, every great oak tree started as a seed. You don't see it, all the stuff that's happening under the soil. You're in the dark right now, under the soil. Stuff is going on. But when it sprouts out, you see it small, and then all these big, great oak trees that we see in parks and, when we're visiting other places, it's like, wow, that great oak tree started as a seed. So just what all those things: commit, execute, don't stop before you start, don't overthink it. And which ties me into the last thing that I thought we should talk about is working with your family. Because we do that. We all work with each other here. Myself, Lou, and the kids, they're not kids, they're 18 and 20. You can do it. There are some pros and cons to it, because if you live together, you work together, you're going to have business meetings / take off the business meeting, house meeting / take off the house meeting. You just might get on my nerves, just my personal space. It's a lot going on. But working with family, their do's and don'ts, things I would definitely say you got to go hard. And then this is definitely something you don't want to do. But those are people, as we said, working with people. Those are some of the people you should actually consider first. I know that's going against the grain. Almost like you shouldn't be connecting with people, social distance. You need to, kind of be sitting. And it's like, no, work your mental muscle. The other thing I'm saying too is, I think you can work with family. You need to find the right family members. If there's someone, I would start there. I'm a spiritual person, even biblically. How you gonna go try to teach some other people something that you didn't try to do in your house first?
Right.
How you gonna go feed somebody else and you ain't even started at home? So I get it. If it doesn't work, at least hey, I tried to put you on. I tried to bring this to you first, and then I had to go ahead and keep moving, because this is something I want to do. I'm trying to execute. I need some committed players. But I would definitely say, look right where you at. Whoever is the nearest family member, who you're in closest communication with, start with them first. And I'll throw it over to you there. What are some do's and don'ts that you would suggest when working with family?
One of the most important dudes is
I keep hearing Nas do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The old school song.
I mean, somebody will know what we're talking about. Yeah. That's all I got to think right now. Do.
Talk to him nicely. No,
we're like, did they start doing? Did Lou start flowing on it?
Yeah. No, not at all. No, y'all can check that out at JLouMusic.com. No, but no. One I think that works for us is communication. It's one of the things where, especially if you stay with one another, you have to know what's going on periodically. And we usually do it, I don't know, anywhere between every week
1,000 times,
every other week, like round table meetings, and then every day is some kind of check-in with somebody.
Sometimes 3 times a day.
It's a lot of communication involved when you're trying to work with family, obviously with anybody, but especially with family, because it's just touchy sometimes, when you're trying to mix the whole business, and then on top of that, it's your son, it's my daughter, it's my husband, and you're trying to figure out the best way to communicate what needs to be done and how it needs to be done without being like you telling somebody what to do, in lack of better words. But shit, you gotta do that.
Are you trying to figure it out?
Yeah, you're trying. Yeah, that's what you're doing.
Or you guys are just trying to figure it out, not even giving it, like what you need to do. It's like we're trying to figure out what we need to do.
Out what the main thing is. That's why I say the communication is key. And the more you do it, you find that balance. And in that communication, you get to find out what each person's strengths and weaknesses are. You find out, they are good at research and structure. Josiah's really good at technology and working the computers or whatnot. Lou is good at the numbers. I'm just making stuff up. We all have our special skill sets. And like I said, it just depends on the dynamics of your household or whoever it is that you're working with. You guys have to figure out what each person is really good at, and you also have to find out what they're weak at. That way you can plug the holes, because there's nothing like trying to work with somebody and you find out later that they have bad time management. You with them and it's like, dude, I told you we got to pick up this order at 3:00. Oh man, I figured I could get there 3:30. You can't do that type of stuff. So what I'm saying is you're just figuring out that dynamic through communication. What's a don't for you? I can't even think of a don't right now, because I know it's pros and cons to it, and I'm just not thinking about it right now.
Well, we don't have to tell everybody all, because I think it's really tailored based on each individual family.
Really, I think that's what it is, Osman. That's why I don't want to tell you, like, this is a don't, and this only really applies to us. That's why I said a big tip that I would give you, like I said, is keeping that open line of communication. And then the second tip I would say is learning the strengths and weaknesses of the people that you're working with. I mean, both of them are huge, but you definitely got to do those a lot. One you have to do a lot. The other one you have to do to figure out how to work together. That doesn't have to be done consistently. You pick that up over time and realize, oh, okay, I know what they're good at, and I know what they're not good at. Because sometimes people will say what they're good at, like, this is what I'm good at, and then you look, okay, cool, then I can rely on you to do that, and you go past a couple of weeks and like, this motherfucker said he can draw. He drawing stick men. That one is over a little bit of time, and also communication. You realize what the strengths and weaknesses are, but communication has to be there all the time.
So I think what you were saying, your do communicate often and frequently. And the don't that you were saying, this is why I'm the wife. I was listening to it, but I'm just gonna put it together, because you were saying the track record and all that stuff. The don't is, don't assume that they can do something. Do pay attention to work ethic and track record. So I'm gonna pay attention to what you said you could do. You can draw. Okay, I'm gonna give you that, and I'm gonna move around, but I'm paying attention. You can draw. Well, can you have the logo done by Saturday? Nah, give me till Sunday. Okay, Sunday, I'm gonna need the logo. You move around. Now pay attention. Saturday comes and goes. Don't assume that they were gonna call you and I told you, Saturday or Sunday, you should have called me. Don't make assumptions. Do check up and check in often. Check off too, like it's done. So check in, check up, and check off. So it's like, I'm checking in because I want to know if you actually did what you said you were going to do. And so I can see what your work ethic is, what your follow through is. And over time, hopefully you'll build a track record with, Lou got it. I'm still going to follow up, but it's different because we have chemistry now. We've built this rapport where he knows this is on the to-do list. We need this done by Sunday. I'm going to expect that from him. He's going to have it to me, and he's demonstrated over a period of time the follow through. So do pay attention to the work ethic and the track record.
And don't assume.
That it's done. Check in, check off, check up often. Like, you're checking in. It's like, is it done? Shoot a text. You're not policing anybody. If I text, hey, mid Wednesday or Thursday, so how's everything coming along for me to pick up the logo on Sunday? Is everything good? And at that point, if you know it's not going to be done, can communicate to me. I hit a snag. The ink didn't come, or I'm still kind of spitballing. I can't quite get this right. Can we stretch it till Monday, or would you like to just have whatever I have by then? And we can figure it out. Right. So that's happening there. So I checked in, or sometimes people don't say anything at all, and it's not even checked off. Weeks go by, and it's like, well, I told you I needed it Sunday, and I figured you was going to call me. And when you didn't call me, I just assumed that it was done. Well, why didn't you ask me? Because I would have told you it wasn't done. That's some family, like that back and forth, and the luxury because we're in the house to eat. That's, I think I see happen often with family. So many assumptions are made and there's no checking in happening. There's no checking off happening or no overseeing. And that, like you said, that huge thing, that communicating, all that stuff. And it's just like, you can't work with family. You just can't work with family. It's like, no, you just didn't implement the same things you would when you work for somebody.
Exactly.
They have systems in place. You got to prove yourself. That's why it's 90-day probation, 30-day probation period. Your resume says you did this. Then we interviewed you and we thought you'd be a good fit based on the flow of the conversation, what you said you would do. So your resume said one thing. In the interview, you exemplified that you could do this. You told, like you said, I could draw. This motherfucker, he could draw. All right, we're hiring you. And you're on your probationary period. So now we're watching you. Yeah. And then they have those, we always check in. See how's everything coming on along, Lou? How you liking everything? Got any questions? Did you need to meet, communicate? Then they're write-ups sometimes because you didn't do what you said you were going to do. So I'm going to have to, can I talk to you for a minute? You that kind of, come on, stepping into my office for a minute. Oh, man. Because you put yourself in a rest and come and talk to me. Like, oh, man, so those things are happening, but it creates a system. They weed out who is incapable and they bring on who's fully capable of making the wheels on the bus go round and round, and bam, you have this fine oiled machine where the money's coming in and people are getting paid and so on and so forth. And that's how stuff happens. So don't be afraid for that to happen or create that with family if you got somebody that's committed and they're ready to execute. And you'll see that only over a period of time.
Yeah. Well, I just thought about another do and don't. Another do is delegation equally with things that could be done by anybody in the group. I find a lot of times, specifically in our dynamic, that one of us tend to take on more tasks than we necessarily have to. Mm-hmm. And what happens with that is what we really need you for, you can't do it because you took on so much other stuff. Now you burnt out for the stuff I really need you for. Mm-hmm. So don't make the mistake of being like Superman or Superwoman saying, I got this, I can do this, I can do that. If it's something that somebody else can do and it's a light work type thing, whatever that is, I don't know what it is, but whatever that is for you guys specifically, allow them to do that. Don't take on more tasks than you have to. Delegation is super important because it helps you conserve energy for things that you really need to do. And the don't, which is not necessarily a don't, it's just how I'm starting it, but don't be afraid to hold people accountable either. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That may be tied into what you said about checking in and stuff like that. Because I think what happens too also is, especially because it's family, sometimes you try to, I guess, word something a certain way because you don't want to step on nobody's toes or make them mad. And it's like, well, if I make them mad, then this may not get done. So look, that needs to be done. People need to be held accountable no matter who it is. Obviously, the respect factor is there. You don't want to disrespect anybody with any kind of crazy language because I know it could get crazy with family because that's your cousin or that's your brother. You start talking to him crazy. Like at the end of the day, you got to take the family hat off and the business hat needs to come on. You wouldn't talk to your coworker like that. And if you did, you probably get fired because you causing disruptions in the office. So you have to take the family hat off and keep that business system in place. Anything that you wouldn't do normally in an office or in a board meeting setting, don't do that with your family member. And I think they'll respect you for it. And if they don't, then they wasn't the right fit because you need to hold people accountable for things that need to get done. Like you said, if they said they can do something or you feel like somebody's slacking on something, you should be able to address them and vice versa. They should be able to address you. Like one of the dynamics in here, like you guys just heard, is we work with our daughter and son. So it ain't taken personal, like I'm your daddy. Like you can't talk to me like that. Like it's not like that. If Jair sees something that I could be doing or Josiah see something that I said I was doing, and they see at the meeting and they bring it up, and it's like, well, Lou, or Pops, I feel like you could have done this better, and you said you was gonna do this, but I watched you all week and you was playing NBA Live, or 2K all day. Like, what you could have got done on Monday, you ended up getting done on Thursday, and it was a rush job, etc. So I can't take that personal. That's holding me accountable to what I said I was capable of doing, or the time frame I needed to be done. So recap that. Delegate, and don't wear yourself out with minute tasks that can be separated and delegated to other people. And don't be afraid to hold your teammate or your business mate, whoever that is that's with you, accountable. Yep.
And delegating is good too, because if you can find out who does it better, it automatically should go to them. It's unfair, but sometimes just because you can do it doesn't mean you're efficient or you do it the best. Exactly. If you have, like for us, we have the editing thing. All three of you guys can edit. I can't. Mm-hmm. I don't know the first thing about editing, but for specific things, you might go to Josiah to edit it because he just has a passion, or he enjoys editing music video more. Jair has got, as far as editing for YouTube, the inserts, all that. She's been doing it for so long. It's like second nature to her. Right. And you could come and pick it up for both of them. You could learn because you already know the editing of, sound, music. You know how to edit snippets, pictures, or posts and things like that. So you could transfer that over. But
don't mean I'm as efficient or as fast.
So don't take it personal. That was my other thing. If it's like, yeah, I know when somebody, I could do it. I could give me, pick me, coach, pick me. It's like, no, I know you could do it, but I'm going to have him do it or her do it. Don't take it personal, because you want whoever can do it the best, and everybody wins. Because it's a team effort and we all trying to get this stuff done. We moving as a unit. If I win, we all win. If you win, we all win. So we win as a family. So yeah, we could probably go on and on. You're like, I thought of another dude. Mm-hmm. I thought of another don't. But those are just a few tidbits, and you guys know what our goal is with Real Fit. If you don't know, you'll hear it when we wrap up. But that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else to say. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you want to keep this conversation going, you can email us at realfitradio@gmail.com. Our podcast drops every Monday. It's available on most platforms. If there's somewhere you'd like to see us, but we're not there, shoot us an email. We'll do our best to get there. You can always catch a snippet of our latest podcast on our Instagram. It's Real Fit Radio. If you're not following us, you definitely should be. Hopefully we've inspired, impacted, or empowered someone. Until next time.